Well, election day is just a few days away, and while Mr. Trump is making a good try, Mr. Biden is heavily favored in the polls, and the Democrats are heavily favored to retain control of the House, and they have a good chance, although by no means an excellent chance, of getting control of the Senate. Question: what would life be like in a Biden administration? Well, will life in America be different? In what way will life in America be different if Mr. Biden is president and Ms. Harris is vice president? And I think in several ways it'll be quite different. First of all, if they get control of Congress, they will embark on a very dangerous, to me, dangerous program of strict environmentalism. They will demand that many buildings be torn down, many others be gutted and rebuilt, and that is going to cause havoc in the general day-to-day life of Americans. I think if Americans are required to be in buildings with small windows, buildings that have solar energy powering them, it's going to cause chaos, at least for a considerable period of time. The buildings that have been built in this country have been built over a very long period of time. To rebuild them all within 10 years is going to be simply impossible. So even to try in any major way, I think is going to cause chaotic conditions. That's one. Two, if we stop fracking, which Mr. Biden has said we're going to do, it's going to cause us to become totally dependent on Middle Eastern countries again for oil, which I think will be a terrible situation. And countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran will have much more leverage over the Western world than they do now. And I don't think that's a good thing for us. Neither Saudi Arabia, which is our friend supposedly, nor Iran, which is very, very much our enemy, are going to want to sell us oil on any kind of good terms. We are much better off being self-reliant on oil through fracking, and it has yet to be proven that fracking is dangerous to any significant part of the country. I mean, there are allegations that it will be dangerous, but there's a lot of fracking going on now, and so far the damage to people and animals and plant life has been trivial, if there's been any damage at all. Okay, now let's go on to the big question, the one that the Democrats and Republicans are talking about a lot. Will President Biden, if there is a President Biden, be able to stop COVID? I don't think it's possible. I think it will eventually die out as more and more people get it and get immunity to it, but there's nothing that I can imagine he could do that will cause it to stop. Yes, he can close down more businesses. Yes, that will cause a very serious recession or maybe depression. Yes, there will eventually be a vaccine, but that will not be any credit to him. If there's a vaccine, it will have been developed under Mr. Trump, not under Mr. Biden. So I think his promise that he's going to stop COVID is just nonsense. I mean, it's nice, and I understand why he's doing it. It's nice that he's doing it, and if people believe him, there's a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell them, but there's just no possibility that I can imagine of anything he could do that would give us a realistic chance of stopping COVID. As I say, eventually there will be a vaccine. Eventually enough people will have had it and will develop immunity to it that there will be herd immunity within the United States. But that Mr. Biden as a Democrat, Ms. Harris as a Democrat can stop it, that a Democratic Congress or a Democratic Senate can stop it, I just don't see how they would do it. It's never been done before, and I don't think they can do it. Maybe they can, maybe they have some secret plan. Generally speaking, politicians who tell you they have a secret plan do not have a plan at all. And I don't think Mr. Biden or Ms. Harris has a plan. There's just nothing that we know of that they could do. Yes, it would be better if more people wore masks. And generally speaking, when I'm not talking, I am wearing a mask, unless I'm sleeping or eating. Maybe we could have people wear more masks. That's possibly would be of some value. But everybody would have to be wearing an airtight mask that's going to cause a lot of people to get sick for it to have much good effect. There could be more contact tracing. That's a fine idea. I love it. It's a little late for it in this country. It would have been good at the beginning, but it's a little late for it in this country. I think that's a completely empty promise that Mr. Biden and Ms. Harris have made that they can't conceivably follow through on. Will we have greater or less prosperity? I don't know. We were incredibly prosperous before COVID hit. We had unique peacetime prosperity. I don't see how Mr. Biden can add to that. Taxes for well-to-do people will be higher. A estate tax will be very much higher. That bothers me because I'm old and I would like to be able to leave as large an estate as possible. But I don't think most people will be much affected by the tax changes. Otherwise, I don't see much difference in what life is going to be like here, except I don't think the promises about COVID are going to come true. I think we're going to all regret the fact that we kicked out Mr. Trump, who has done a very, very good job over a completely empty promise about COVID. I think we're not going to have a chance of having as much prosperity under Biden, Harris as we've had under Trump. Otherwise, I don't see what's going to change very much. God bless them. It's nice that they made all these promises, and that's what politicians do. But as I say, I don't see how the big ones can come true. Defense policy, I haven't heard much from them about defense. Certainly there are those in the Democratic Party who want to cut defense spending drastically, which I think would be a big mistake. This is still a very dangerous world, and I don't think it's the time, and maybe there will never be a time when we should cut defense drastically. As I say, otherwise I just don't see what they can do. I think it's going to be much more boring in America in terms of newspaper coverage, because we want to have this 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365-day a year attack on the president that we have now under Republicans. But other than that, we're just in, I think, for a gigantic disappointment as a President Harris, if she becomes president, or President Biden, if he becomes president, will not be able to deliver on their promises, flat out. That's it.